Welcome to the 2020 Roundup for the Nature Magic podcast. This year has been difficult for Burren Nature Sanctuary, and we have no clear path for 2021. We let go of our last member of staff yesterday, our terrific manager, Joss Hughes, and we wish her all the best in the future. But we are very grateful for lots of things. We managed to run 8 days of socially distanced Santa, and the joy that brought our visitors was heartwarming. The logistics were complicated with strict timings, but everyone managed to arrive at exactly the right time, and we were just delighted to be able to do something festive. There were some virtual Santas around, but only a few actual Santa visits, and we ended up with a monumental waiting list. With only 5 families per hour, the lucky few had fun safely. They won't need to wonder what year the photo was taken, with everyone wearing festive masks. And thank you for Santa, who was determined to do his job. We were also very lucky to have escaped the dreaded COVID so far. It has been a pleasure to be locked down in Kinvara this year. The community has been amazing. Last night, around 100 local farmers decorated their tractors with Christmas lights and drove around the parish, spreading Christmas cheer instead of the other things they normally spread. It was a joyful sight. The musicians who could not play in the pubs over the summer set up on the quay every weekend to entertain everyone. The Friday market continued sporadically, and there was total euphoria when the brilliant new Chinese takeaway Zen opened up in the village. The Christmas lights in Kinvara are beautiful. We have colourful lit up buoys bobbing about in the bay, a sparkling lit up sailing boat, a large tree, and festoons of lit up stars along the main street. Well worth a visit in a normal year when travel is not restricted. The other thing we are grateful for is this podcast that would never have happened in a normal year, as it was on the bottom of a long list of things that normally would have taken precedent, and the subsequent book, which I had been meaning to write to put down all we do at Burren Nature Sanctuary, but had never had the time. Also, what has brought me a lot of joy is my experience retraining Toffee using the Warwick-Schiller relationship path. Toffee is a half Haflinger, half Clydesdale Palomino cob, who is sweet-natured but full of anxiety. I've had a lot of fun with Toffee and he's doing really well. He's already doing groundwork without a halter or any equipment, and we are working towards riding without any saddle or bridle. Such a sweet horse. Warwick, an Australian now living in the US, who has 100,000 subscribers on YouTube and also a brilliant podcast, has agreed to speak up for the horse on the Nature Magic podcast next year, so that's very exciting. As a little roundup, I'm going to read an excerpt from the Nature Magic book, as promised, about our wonderful Juliana pig, Amelia. Check her out on Instagram in her Christmas tinsel. Pigs are enchanting. No one can resist them. They're a shoo-in to dupe the most disengaged individuals into spending time in nature. People have dragged the dourest of city slicker husbands and the grumpiest of techie teenagers to the fairy pig walk, and Amelia has never failed to turn that frown upside down. People come from far and wide to do the fairy pig walk, and Amelia gets stellar reviews. This is the best thing we did in Ireland. This is the best thing we did on our trip. And even, this was the best thing I did in my life. A lot of our visitors who go on the fairy pig walk are considering owning a micropig. As with every animal chapter, I've added sections with advice about care and maintenance to help you make an informed decision before you buy a pig. Pigs are a joy to keep, but as with any animal, they require a serious commitment. We often get calls to take in people's micropigs because they've become bored with them or the pigs have grown too big for them. Sadly, many pet pigs suffer unhappy endings, as sanctuaries can only adopt a lucky few. So if you're not entirely sure whether ownership is the right route for you, just support your local sanctuary or visit a pig like Amelia. My friend Helen ended up hosting our most heartwarming fairy pig walk. On this day, only 2 people had booked to go on the walk. They were a young couple from Seattle. The woman was desperate to own a pig. Her partner, not so much. Of course, her tactic worked, and he instantly fell in love with Amelia. As they walked through the woodland, the conversation went like this. Well, your place is too small, and your place doesn't have a garden. They laughed and took photos as they skipped from fairy door to fairy door with Amelia. Helen shared some history and told them folklore from the area. She also handed them the beautiful poem, The Song of Wandering Angus by W.B. Yeats. By the time they got to the fairy wishing well, they were utterly enchanted and had decided they would move in together and get a pig. He dropped to one knee. Will you marry me? Yes. High five, Amelia. Helen has also been persuaded to be Biddy the Witch and Mother Owl at Halloween, Mrs. Claus at Christmas, and even the giant chicken for Chicken Run at Easter. She quit the giant chicken job after a few rugby tackles by overzealous egg collectors, and these days our giant chicken always has a bodyguard. Her most stressful walk was with a group of 10 Americans. When hosting the Fairy Pig Walk, you have an enormous responsibility to give everyone a wonderful time. The group had flown to Ireland, got to Galway, booked their tickets, got to Kinvara, found the Burren Nature Sanctuary on time, signed in, got their coats on, and were prepared to enjoy themselves. They got to Amelia's paddock with much excitement and no Amelia. The gate was swinging wide open. Someone had let her out. Helen divided the group and sent them on a search and rescue mission. When they finally found her in the woodland, there was jubilation. Helen had to recuperate by having a big lie down in the office afterwards. Joe was our oldest guest on the Fairy Pig Walk. To date, he is a US war veteran with a prosthetic leg and was 89 years old when he did the walk. He goes on adventures in memory of his late wife. There are quite a few roots and stones on the trail. I was glad Helen was there to link arms with Joe in certain areas. We all agreed Joe is a total legend. He even managed to review us on Airbnb. A pig walk was a unique experience. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. I think my favourite review from Airbnb is from Hefzibah, August 2019. So, we walked a pig through a fairy forest. It was fantastic. The end. Thank you to all the podcast guests who have spoken so brilliantly and passionately and have helped to grow our reach across the globe, with listeners as far as New Zealand, South Africa and Chile. It is really fun to wonder who is listening, and I'd like to say a happy Christmas to all of you. Please get in touch if you feel you could contribute to the cause of giving nature a voice. We have had some sponsorship proposals and are going to try and upgrade our microphone and improve the audio for 2021 for a better listener experience. And hopefully my interview technique is improving with practice. Happy Christmas, everybody, and see you in 2021.